Welcome to another episode of my Motortown playthrough. Today we are going to take care of some of the depots that I started putting down the last episode. The thing is, there actually was another episode planned between the last one and this one, but I did a stupid. I had to mute myself a few times during the video in order to clear my throat, and one time I may have pressed the mute button one too many times and therefore was toggled off during a lot of stuff that I was recording, and I won't be uploading that video. A few things happened here and there, so let me get you guys up to speed. First up, I completely missed that Senho also has some properties right here. At least during the initial video that you're going to see, where I went around the map and started putting down depots. So at the start of last episode, I put down another depot over here after buying the spot. And I also did the same to the Lijo spot over here. So this is a little, it's a large spot, 50 meters by 50 meters at the end of the town. Should also be pretty nice for any truck that comes by, can just quickly go through here and get a refresh instead of having to deal with this depot in the back here. I might rip this out again at some point and maybe build a regular building over there. I think with that being in a residential area, that would be much nicer than having an industrial building over there. But yeah, that's another thing that happened. And when I started delivering some resources, I set up a company route. I can quickly show you guys that one. So this is just a temporary route. I should actually be going to trucks and not buses. Always messes me up that there is now the depot tab, and I'm always thinking that, yeah, the bus route tab is where the truck route would have been in the last update. Need to actually read the stuff instead of just doing it automatically. But anyways, we have a few spots around here. We start over here at the concrete pickup point. Then we go up north to the Gouchoir plot, which is going to be really helpful since there will be a lot of trucks and buses coming by. Then we go over to the Lijo construction site. From there over to Gangyang, where I'm at right now. And then back to the concrete factory before going down south to the other places. So here we got the Gappa place. Then the location shortly before the drilling place right here. And then we go down to the refinery before coming back and hitting the Oasis building site. I'm sorry, I'm still having some throat issues. I don't know. I should probably go to the doctor at some point. It's just been a constant problem here. The weather doesn't really help things. Anyways, we set up that route with two mixies on the job. So while they are not really handling things effectively, I saw one of them for the first pick up something that's 10 kilometers away. So while they are doing the Lijo lab right here, they are already having something picked up for down south. So that's not ideal, but I don't care about efficiency. I just don't want to deal with concrete myself because I don't like the mixies all that much. And therefore, I just let the company tasks run until they are done and nothing gets picked up again. The concrete factory should have enough stuff for that entire job. I should probably check it. Let's go over there real quick and just see what's in stock here, but there should be enough. Yeah, no problem. Okay, so the thing is, after I did that, I also went to this place and got myself some planks. So all of that has been taken care of. We don't need any planks anymore for any of these. I still got the Dabo sitting around there. I might go there next because we actually, you know what, let's maybe go down south and let's check in on the H beams because we are going to need them as well. So let's start by doing that now. I'm still a bit all over the place. The whole thing about the last episode kind of messed me up a little bit, but yeah, we are getting there. I didn't really want to show you guys all the steps anyways, because there's just gonna be a lot of jobs for all the different locations around the map, but I at least want to give you guys the first few things. Where the hell is my Atlas driver? Pretty far down the line. I always think I'm using this more, but apparently not. Still waiting on the flatbed version. That would be nice for a change. Although right now, from what I've seen, the next update might actually be more about non-trucking stuff. And I definitely don't want to give them the impression that I need more trucks right now. So I'm glad that, at least from the first few items that are on the list for the next update, it looks a bit more like we are finally getting some regular vehicles. But yeah, right now it's still too early to call it. I don't even have access to the new version yet, so we're going to have to wait and see. But trust me when I say I'm pretty happy with what I've seen so far. Also, in between episodes, the update finally came out in its final version. There might still be a few patches here and there if I find any major issues, but yeah, overall this is considered done right now. So let's see, where do we need to go from here? We need to bring stuff over to Senho, definitely. I think 3 are for the larger spots. The smaller ones, yeah, that's 2. I think I can hold up to 6, so it might be a good idea to try and get the ones that are close by. Like this one over here, and you know what, this is actually the wrong way of loading it. I want the stuff to go further away to be loaded first. And then the close by things. Otherwise, everything will be loaded in the trailer. And while I could switch over to semi-truck, which might not, or semi-tractor, which might not be the worst idea. If I'm keeping the vehicles as they are right now, this is definitely going to be a bit more helpful. Because then we also have some weight in the tractor and the trailer isn't going to push that one around. But yeah, we got 6 items loaded right now, which... Oh yeah, I forgot, they only do double stacks, so 2 of them in the truck up front, 4 of them in the trailer, and that's just how it goes with these. I've got a bit confused for a moment with planks and all that. Because planks load up to 3 high. And that would have meant that we could have gotten 9 in total, but that's not the case here, sadly. But there was also going to be a major difference between what I'm doing right now and what I would be doing if I was only taking care of a single location. Because for a single depot, it's really easy to figure out multiple cargos that you can load on at the same time and then get all of that delivered at once instead of doing one trip for every single material. For example, if I have a depot down here and I need to bring in plastic pipes and wood from the Northern Island or something, I can easily combine that with the planks and the pipes. They go into the same trailer. I can also combine that by pulling that trailer using the Atlas dump for the sand. And that just deals with 3 different cargo types just like that in one trip. Although from my testing I found that you will likely need to, when you want to get the second stackable thing there, and both planks and pipes are stackable, if you have something else loaded on the trailer, you might have to unload that first, meaning that you'd have to lift it off using the rotator, then load the other cargo, strap it down, and then get the other thing back in. the game doesn't do the stacking correctly if you already have something else loaded. Which is a bit of a shame. But I hope they can figure that out at some point. But yeah, let's see. We have something close by, something a bit further away, and then we might go back to Jilu and grab some pipes or something. I'm not 100% certain that I won't be ending up automating a few other cargos, because once again this is just a whole job over here. But for the time being I'm doing some stuff manually and I can always switch over. So we'll do that when the need arises. And most likely when the mixes are done, so that I can get a few more vehicle slots back for that job. Send out a few trucks at a time and have them deal with different cargos. That seems like a good idea. Okay, just heading over to the AI for a moment. Okay, so let's see. The other thing that I want to mention real quick is now that I'm doing deliveries to multiple depots, it's much easier to just do what I'm doing right now, get multiple bunches of the same cargo for different locations. Also, one thing that I noticed, and I recently looked that up on Trello to make sure that they haven't actually fixed it. Depots usually only work from the side of the road that they are placed on. So with this property, for example, is pretty extreme, because any bus coming into this area from the main road and going down to Ara, so the opposite direction of what I'm doing right now, if I want to give them a refresh at the Oasis depot, I would have to wait for them to turn around at Ara and come back up this way. I know that the dev had the card about fixing that on the Trello for a while, but with them wanting to get the update finished, they just decided to get rid of that card for the time being, and it's just in candidates now. I hope it's going to come at some point, including maybe a few other quality of life things here that would have been nice for the update, but ultimately didn't make the cut. For example, improvements to the Terra queue. It's pretty hard to tell right now what's actually going to happen with any Terra that you produce, how it's going to work when you have maybe a few in the queue or in the making and you want to deliver one or buy one. I think the first one actually gets duplicated, so it's available as both a purchase vehicle as well as a delivery. So that's kind of weird. But I will have to see about all of that. Let me just get the lift axle up, because that might make this a bit easier. A bit more weight on the driven axle, a bit more traction, and that should do the difference here. This really isn't the easiest to maneuver. I should have really gone for the other strat and switched over to a semi-tractor now. You know what, I think there's an easier way here. Let me just turn around again. Do you see how much the truck swings around when I accelerate again? That's kind of bullshit. I physically cannot turn left there far enough. So let's try and get back on the road. You know what? Fuck it. There we go. I want to do some things today and I want to spend the entire time trying to turn the thing around again. So let's just drive in here. And that should all the beams be unloaded because they all went into the trailer. And backing out of here should be easy enough. Never mind. Yeah, going with a semi-tractor from this point on would have been the better choice, but I'm pretty sure this is still full. Yeah. And that means there should still be another one over here. Yep. And that means we'll have to keep going with this one. Since even if I want to use the rotator, I simply cannot get anything out of the truck. It's basically married together until the delivery is done. Also, I have the same plot on Hoki server and I built the same depot on there, basically just swapping out my large garage that I had there. And that's working out pretty well, so I think I'll just be copying over what I have on there onto this one. And then we'll just go from there, have the same thing here. It's a nice setup and I don't know what else to do there, but that spot is so nice I need to do something with it. Might be a bit different on the interior decoration, but we'll see. I was also hoping for maybe a few more, a higher prop limit on the properties. That was also on the Trello if I remember correctly. They definitely want to raise some limits for some of the customization stuff. But once again, that also didn't make the cut, so yeah. Maybe we'll see some of this come around for the next update. I wouldn't mind the general quality of life stuff. I'm not too hot on the entire trucking thing right now, so I wouldn't mind keeping that in the queue for a bit longer. It's going to happen sooner or later. But yeah, just a pure non-trucking update. Taking care of taxis, getting a few more nice cars in, that kind of deal. Racing, tuning. I hope that's what's in the cards right now. It's looking not too bad on some of the fronts, but once again, it's very early to call it, but well, I'm happy with what I've seen so far. That's what I'm just wanting to emphasize here. The whole tracking thing so far is leaving me a bit a bit mixed with my feelings. I like the additions on principle, but it's been so much recently I don't even know if I want to show off the hobbers really. Nice trailers, nice new cargo, but not even really supply chain right now. And in the end, with how you drive them, it just, apart from looking differently, there isn't going to be much difference in how the actual experience plays out. So I might give that one a skip until we get more components to the supply chain. But once again, as far as I'm concerned, that can wait a little bit. I've also been playing a bit on TWL recently, the Workers League, and I mean the main server, not just the event server that we do the racing on. Basically, during testing, Hoki server doesn't get the testing updates. I mean, the public testing phase. And rolling back the update all the time to be able to play on that server, it's been too much of a pain with all the stuff that changes. Having to basically pick and choose between multiple parts of my backup that I need to re-import in order to be good again. So, yeah. TWL is pretty nice on that because they do the public testing phase, and it's been nice playing with those people on there, but well, I recently saw the announcement that they are now supporting mods. So people with modded vehicles, stuff that they have modded on their accounts, whatever, things that they have installed to the game, can now play on that server, and I'm not entirely too keen on that front. Not really much of a fan of modding in general. I get it for a lot of games. I don't like using it myself because with every single little update that the main game has, usually stuff breaks with the mods and it's just a pain to keep up with, so for me it's more of a convenience thing. But with this game right now, I don't really care too much about the mods at all. It's fun to maybe play around with a few things, like being able to convert some electrical or EV vehicles over to combustion engines or vice versa, maybe try out giving the Jimusi heavy duty engine or that kind of thing, but yeah, I think right now, especially when it comes to balance, the current game version is a lot better on that. Not perfect by any means, but I think there are a few things that shouldn't be in the game. For example, the Atlas dump being an 8x4 is already very powerful on the harsh off-road paths of Guangzhen. If we were to give it the 8x8 treatment and have all the wheels driven, I think that would just be too much. And yeah, from what I heard from other people, it's basically, while there are no mods required to play on modded servers right now, at least not with how the mods are working so far. If you don't have the same mods as other people, stuff that they have will make no sense to you. Cars might be floating because they have higher suspension as what we can equip, or they might have an additional winch which by default is usually below the vehicle and therefore they will just be scraping for you, so I don't know. I still have to maybe go on the server and see what it actually is like, but on principle, not really a fan of that change. TWL has been the game's main community for years. It changed recently with the addition of more servers and more people playing, but for me it's always gonna be a special server, and I thought it would be a better one to have as a vanilla server. But yeah, we'll see how it goes down in the end, how it actually works out. These are just my thoughts from what I heard and from what I had other people tell me. One thing that I like about the mods though is that the dev isn't trying to fight them. I think that would be a fool's errand. You can spend a lot of time trying to make your game mod proof. It's going to piss off a lot of people who like those mods. And at the end of the day, it's also just going to mean that the modders are going to spend some time on getting access again. And in the end, it's always going to be the same. You block them through one method, they crack that method, you need to implement something else. They will find a way around it, and so on and so forth. And in the end, you just get a lot of wasted dev time for little to no real change here. So while to me it seems like the mods are coming in strong and coming in very early in the game's development, I mean I can understand it because, yeah, there are a lot of things that people want, And the dev can only do so much at once, so it's just... Yeah, other people trying to get some stuff where it might also just be not intended for the game by what the dev himself has in mind. It's complicated. Okay. Trying to not go off into the deep sand over here. We got another 2.7 kilometers to go according to the road length. But we should be getting there sooner or later. Also what I like is that with the final release or even a few patches before that, they fixed the frame drops. It's running pretty well right now. I actually went back and re-imported my my graphics settings from the old version, from the old live version that is. So for the whole thing, the frame drops and everything, I had to lower my settings quite a bit. But now it's running about as good as ever, so I'm happy about that whole thing. But still, the game needs much more optimization. I don't know if they are planning to do this all in the end. I mean, there have been a few patches trying to improve performance, but it's not been all that amazing. We'll see how it goes in the end. But yeah, at least right now the performance issues that were introduced earlier in the update cycle, at least those have been dealt with, so the game isn't worse than before. Still got quite a bit of pop in, and that should be addressed. I don't know how they are going to do it. I always thought it would be better to do this on a prop by prop basis. And maybe since some of those props are part of the world, they can do it through world streaming or something. But yeah, seeing some of the stuff just pop in, not amazing. Like over there you could see just a lot of other things in the background appearing. And they should be transitioning between different level of detail models. But yeah, here we are at the refinery plot. I should have maybe approached from the other side. This might be a bit of a tight fit. I didn't really want to unload this yet, but there shouldn't be too much left in the trailer, so... While I want the tractor to be heavier than the trailer if possible, yeah, this isn't going to be too much of a problem. Got everything done, so that's another cargo off the list, at least for some of the plots. 2 out of 7, this is not going too well. But in the end I'll have to do a lot of this off screen anyways, because it wouldn't be too much fun making an episode on every single thing, which I already felt because I cannot upload the last one with being muted half of the time. So let's just try and get the vehicles despawned over here. Okay. So let's see. Nothing else is really arrived here. I can take care of the sand requirements somewhat easily. I wish we still had the construction site out of here. That would be really handy. The next one is going to be likely around here in Ara. That's a bit away. I wonder how they are going to handle the construction sites in the long run, because there need to be some permanent ones. Cannot finish everything up and eventually have all the stuff disappear. But yeah, I can easily bring some stuff over here, maybe go to the place over here as well. You know what, let's just do that right now. At least one delivery. Well, it's not gonna be too much of a problem. Let's get over a good old dump, which I've been talking about earlier, and yeah. I'm an idiot. Should have aimed for the middle of the exit there, not the corner. But yeah, while I feel like I could be doing a few episodes today and I would kinda like to get a few things recorded, it's also bloody hot in here, so I likely will be taking a break now, once the episode is done. Cool off a little. I mean, it's getting dark outside, so good time to get some fresh air in. Can't really do that while recording though, so I'm basically cooking myself here for you guys' entertainment. And I'm just going to be taking this stuff to the closest location, thank you very much. Could have just looked at the price, it would have been obvious. Yeah, let's just stay over main road. But yeah, a lot of things here will just be happening off screen because otherwise we'll likely still be here in 10 episodes or something and I don't want that. I might come back and do a few other things, maybe once the Oasis is finished. I might be trying to get all the stuff that I need in terms of buildings and props, etc. Might do the same for Guangjin, because that's gonna be a fun one. I don't have any plans for Guangjin yet. All that I know is I want a nice building there and I want to do it on the small plot for now. There's no real reason to put a depot there, and I think that would also kind of look awful. We already got the storage facility. Shit. We got all the... we already got the super modern storage facility at the corner of Guangjin Town. And I never liked the look of that, it's way too modern. I'll have to see what I do about the other plot. Let's just keep it for now. I don't need it. Can wait until we have something cool for it. I should maybe also make a video at least exploring the plantation. If I don't do any deliveries there, there's still a little bit of... I mean, there's quite a cool area behind it. All the rivers here, and I don't think I've really checked out the final version. I don't know if anything changed there since I last tried it. But, I mean, things have been updated all over the place, and all the stuff that's been done to the world doesn't always get the most recognition, so yeah. Should probably check it out, make a quick video about it, see what's going on there, and yeah. Let's look around. Ah, come on, that wasn't that sharp of a turn. You're not even fully loaded. Why the hell are you going on your side? Do you want belly rubs? Stupid truck. Truck saying stupid driver. Most likely correct about that. I mean, to be clear, this one also has a Guangjin setup, so it's raised. I don't have an actual version of this just for on-road deliveries. I'm just focusing more on the tough stuff. Oh yeah, and I also wanted to at some point try out doing the Atlas with iron. I know that some people have some setups there, I don't want any of that. I want to figure it out myself, honestly. Starting with a copy of this truck, then just switching out the transmission, because iron ore definitely needs a different type of transmission, needs more gears and more torque, and then go from there. But yeah, I think I'll pass on that for right now because that is an interesting thing. Right now I want to take a bit of a break from all the trucking. So we'll see how I do all the stuff when it's going to happen. But yeah, might take a while, we'll just have to see about it. I should maybe also show you guys the new police thing in a bit more detail, although to be honest, I've done like one of those little things where one of those smaller areas for patrol points in my update video, and that's basically what it boils down to. Might be a bit more fun on a server. Okay, that's at least this location checked off for sand. So this one should still need planks and pipes, I think. And yeah, if I only had to take care of this one location, I would definitely bring over both of them at the same time. But yeah, that should be it then. Once again, I'm not really counting concrete because I got people to do that for me. But yeah, planks and plastic pipes, weirdly enough, and I know it's... I mean, look at that. We can stack 3 planks on top of each other. This one requires 4. We can stack 2 plastic pipes on top of each other. This one requires 3. Is that a coincidence? Coincidence? I don't think so. I think this was deliberate, and I don't mind it. It's kind of fun in a way. Should be different from a smaller depot, so it kind of works out. But if it's something to take care of, maybe in another episode or off screen, I don't know. With weather recently, I've been having a bit of trouble finding a good time for me to record. I'm just not dealing with it too well. It's a bit mixed between the weather getting warmer and then cooling down again. So while I don't enjoy hot weather, I really don't like it being switching between one and the other all the time, because then I cannot get used to any of it, and it's just gonna be constant pain of adjusting. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and see you guys next time. Until then, don't let the weather get the best of you. Have a good one, and bye bye.